G'day there, it's Dave Conroy, and as part of the Lone Drainer and Pronto Coronavirus Diaries, today I have the pleasure of speaking with Ian Bell from the Vaucluse Yacht Club. I'm a member of the club, and Tinker, as we call him, is the Commodore. So, Tinker, welcome.
Thank you. Yep, good to be here.
It's a pleasure to see you after our technology education sessions.
Yep.
But look, Tink, I'm checking in with you today as part of our coronavirus diaries. I'm interested to hear your take as a Commodore of the club on how the club, that is the Vaucluse Yacht Club at Watson's Bay in Sydney, is has been affected by the coronavirus lockdown. So you want to share some of that with me?
Yeah. I guess in the beginning, we all had to go into sort of full lockdown mode, and I think that was for like about the first month or so. But what we decided during that little month-long period, we got quite a few lawyers and solicitors in the club, so they were looking at the Public Health Act, and it was changing daily. And at one stage it was total lockdown, and then what they worked out is it was fine for a couple of people to work in the club. So we decided, as all our bookings had basically gone for winter, and I can't see them coming back till next year, we decided that we could get a few people down and start doing a bit of work to the club. So that sort of worked out okay. But after that month, they then said it was fine to exercise.
Yeah. Okay. So just hold that thought for a moment.
Yeah.
When you say to work at the club, it's a sailing club, it's a yacht club, but there aren't staff there every day. So the people that you're talking about who are coming to work were just doing maintenance around the club?
Yeah. Just maintenance, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we did, we did the men's dressing rooms. We retiled the floors, retiled the ladies' dressing rooms, because we still have a bit of a lockdown on those sort of areas, because that's where the virus can stay for the longest, in a wet, moist environment. So they're basically still locked down at this stage, and that's after 2.5 months or whatever it is now. So we've done that bit of work, and we're just doing general maintenance. But then they eased back on the rules a bit, and we could exercise. And then they decided that sailing was an exercise. So we then were allowed to sail, but only in a group of 2. We weren't allowed to socialise.
Yes. So just for our viewers who don't know about the club, it's predominantly you have a small yacht fleet, of which I'm a part of.
Yep.
And you have a pretty strong laser fleet there. So when you're talking about sailing, you're basically talking about the lasers as opposed to the yachts.
Yeah, well, the yachts are a bit of a different category, because
aren't they always?
Yeah, they are. But because of the 4.5 square metre rule between people, area per person, on a yacht it's a bit tricky. And also the social distancing, like the 1.5, you'd have to have someone up the bow, someone down the stern, basically, to sail a yacht. But we're predominantly a single-handed dinghy club, which is a laser, which is one of the Olympic class yachts.
Yep.
So that is actually an exercise. It's pretty easily recognised as an exercise. So we did it, and we allowed 2 people to go out at a time. So we basically closed the club, and we sent out an email telling them that the club was now a storage facility only, and they were allowed to go in only 1 at a time, I think we said in the beginning, later on 2 at a time, to get their boats out. So they basically came down ready to go sailing in their wetsuits, out of the car, walked into the shed, pulled their dinghies out, rigged them on the beach and went sailing, and did the same in reverse to come back.
Yeah.
So we gave each group of 2 people 2 hours sailing and 15 minutes to de-rig. So what would happen, we had a roster system. There was an app, I think it was called Calendarly, and what you can do is you can book through the app. So we had people sailing at 8 o'clock in the morning. They'd go out till 10, come back in, de-rig, get out of the club. The next group would come in at 10:30. They could go sailing, come back by whatever it was, 12:30, and the next group would come at 2, so on and so on. So we only ever had 2 people in the club at any one time. Yeah.
Okay. And listen, you've got quite a cross section of ages within the laser fleet.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did all those guys, and I know there's some young ladies in the fleet as well. I know you're growing that. But how did they all respond to that booking system?
Great. Yeah, it worked fantastically. One of the guys down here who does a bit of IT work, he just suggested we get this app, Calendarly. So everybody downloaded it, and basically it's just a booking service.
Yeah.
And you book yourself in, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever.
Yeah.
And away you go. So it's worked very well, I must say. Incredible. Yeah.
So allow the sailors to go sailing, to stay in touch with their sport, to get out on our beautiful Sydney Harbour, and just enjoy the sport and the breeze and a little bit of time out on the water. Which all credit to you and to your team of helpers there for allowing that to happen for our sailors. Is there going to be a winter season as such for the lasers and all the yachts?
No, there's no racing as such. I don't think anyone's allowed to race just yet.
Yeah.
We don't have a winter series. We basically have informal racing where, like on this last Saturday, because now that they've allowed up to 10 people to socialise, basically, we don't need that roster system anymore. I think last Saturday, we had 6. Oh, yesterday, actually. Yesterday we had 6 people out there sailing and having informal races. So it was fine. Yeah, so it works well now.
So now it's a matter of probably winter hibernation and getting, hopefully if everything opens up like we're anticipating that it will, effectively getting ready for next summer. Yep.
We're just going to aim at starting the season on time, which will basically be last week of September, say.
Yeah.
And hopefully by that time, if we don't have a second wave, I think the restrictions will be, lifted a little bit more to enable us to start racing again. So we've got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
Away we go.
Just quickly, now I know that the club is a wonderful venue for people who are considering it for a wedding or a celebratory party or a birthday or something like that. So all of those bookings are being closed down completely.
Yes, they have.
Today is the 21st of May 2020. We don't really know when that facility, apart from being able to take 10 people now, when you might be able to reopen and take bookings for social events within the club, outside of club members, I mean. You did tell me in a previous conversation that you had a wedding there in the last week or so that was had to have 5 guests?
2 weeks ago, had 5 guests. Yeah, so they had the celebrant, the bride and the groom, and the 2 mothers turned up, and the dog. So they had 5 people and a dog, and
so to speak.
So to speak.
Or actually.
So no, they were happy. They were booked in to have their wedding, but basically they wanted to get it legalised, and they basically booked in for the exact same day. In 12 months' time. So none of that. We had 12 bookings that we're going to lose. We're not going to lose them, actually. We asked people to put a deposit down on their booking, and so far no one's asked for their deposit back, which tends to mean that they're just going to go with when we can do it again, which will probably be next year, I'd say, at this stage, or maybe earlier. Let's see what happens. But it seems like they're going to keep the 4 square metre rule. And if that happens, we'll be pinned to about 50 in the main room, and 40 in the main room, and maybe 50 outside.
Which is a wonderful room I can see behind you there. Ian Bell, Tink, thank you for spending a few minutes talking with me today, and it's a pleasure to see you on Skype.
You too, David.
And I hope I get to see you in the flesh sooner rather than later.
No worries.
So all the best. And you know what, do you mind if I check in with you maybe in the next 6 or 8 weeks?
Not a problem.
See how things are evolving?
No problems. That'll be great.
All right, mate. Well, lovely to speak to you.
You too.
And let's talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.